He came home early. No driver, no call, just his key and a tired jaw. The hallway smelled like lemon and quiet. Then he heard water, soft laughter, and a voice he did not know. He stopped at the nursery door. The twins were not crying. They were wet, giggling, tapping a plastic bowl like a drum. A young woman was on the floor with them, shoes off, socks damp. She looked up and froze. He froze too. He remembered the last nanny who tried tricks, fancy toys, new rules. All failed. Money could not buy the one thing missing, peace. His chest tightened with an old fear. Hope hurts when it dies. The woman did not scramble or explain. She nodded once, steady. "Good evening, sir. We are making small rain," she said. The twins laughed again, a bright sound he had not heard since the funeral. It cut through the air like sunlight on glass. He did not step in. He did not walk away. He watched. And the house, which had rested like a held breath, let out the smallest sigh. Grace came from a small kitchen and a big heart. She owned 3 dresses, 1 good blouse, and a mother's saying, "Love melts stone faster than fire." She carried that line in her pocket like a warm coin. She was not rich. She was not famous. But she was patient. That was her gift. She took the job because she knew the sound of loud rooms. Her own father left when she was small. Shouts stayed even when mouths closed. She learned to hum, not to hush pain, but to give it a place to land. In her last cleaning job, she calmed a baby with no bottle and no bribe, just a steady tune and a steady face. That memory kept her brave. On her first night, before sleep, she folded her uniform, smoothed the collar, and prayed one sentence: "Let me not run." Then the city sang outside, horns, engines, far-off music. Grace closed her eyes and pictured 2 little girls she had not met. "I will kneel to their height," she whispered. "I will wait longer than the cry." The gate was taller than a bus. Black steel. A red camera light stared like an eye. The guard checked her name, checked her shoes, checked her small bag. The gates opened slow, like the mouth of a giant not sure if it should swallow. Inside, the house was glass and marble and quiet money. The air felt expensive. 3 nannies in 2 months. All gone. Madame Tina met her on the steps. "Gray dress, hard eyes?" "We keep rules," she said. "We keep schedules." She walked fast. Floors glowed. Frames on the wall showed smiles that had stopped years ago. Wedding. Babies. Then nothing. Bare wall, blank time. Grace feels small. Her voice feels thin. "Issue. This house likes control more than comfort. Interest, a father who manages firms like storms but cannot hold 2 daughters' sleep. Fear and excitement. 1 error and she is out before dinner. Curiosity, what broke the others? They reached the nursery. 2 cribs. White curtains moved like slow breath. Toys in lines, untouched. A blue cloth folded like a shield. "They do not trust," Tina said. "Do not disturb, sir, unless necessary." Then the door shut. The quiet turned heavy like rain before it falls. Grace inhaled. She did not touch the toys. She let the room see her. She spoke to the air first. "My name is Grace. I am slow. I am steady. Confirmation justify." She starts with honesty, the only thing that doesn't snap when pulled. A small sound came from the crib on the left. Not a cry. A warning. The first wave was coming. It came fast. A thrown block hit the floor. A sharp cry rose and split into 2 cries, then climbed the walls. Bella pounded the rail, eyes hot. Gabby held the blue cloth like a life jacket. Their noise said, "Everyone leaves. Everyone lies." Grace sits on the rug, not the chair. She did not rush. She did not shush. She lowered herself until her eyes were level with the rails. "I can take it," she said softly. "You can throw, I will stay." She picked up the block, dusted it, offered it back, palms open. No demand, no smile trick. Just presence. No fancy training badge to flash. Issue, this is not about milk or toys. This is about trust broken by death. Fear and excitement. If her calm fails, the girls learn she is like the rest. Why hum? Why floor? Why slow? She tried a bottle. No, she checked diapers. Kicks and wild legs. Still no, sweat on her neck. Arms aching. She switched to the uniform, easy to move, easy to kneel. Then she hummed. Not words. A thread of sound that does not push, does not pull. It holds. Gabby's cry fell into hiccups. Bella's fist slowed. Grace did not reach in yet. She waited for breath to return to the room. It did inch by inch. Children do not borrow calm from orders. They borrow it from bodies near them that are already calm. Grace gave them her body as a soft wall. The storm hit it and lost speed. Midnight. 1. 2 on 10. Time blinked in the dark. Grace sat cross-legged on the rug with both girls draped over her, warm and heavy. Her back ached. Her knees hummed. She kept humming anyway. "If you wake, wake me too," she whispered. "We can cry together." The father watches, unseen from the doorway. He had prepared himself to fire another nanny by morning. He found something else. A young woman who turned the floor into a safe lap. No rush, no anger. No noise, just steady. He feels like a stranger in his own house. Issue, grief built rules and locked doors. Fear and excitement, hope feels dangerous. If this works and fails later, it will hurt more. Curiosity. Is this repeatable or a lucky night? Near 3, the room went quiet. Not a scary quiet, a soft one. Grace did not move them to the cribs right away. She let peace sink in, like tea left to steep. When she finally lifted each girl, she pressed her cheek to each forehead. "Small queens," she murmured. "I stay. Promises for children must be simple and lived, not poetic and loud." She kept the promise for 6 hours straight. That is what they will remember by morning. The promise held. He stepped back from the door. The house breathed. A wall in him bent, not broke, just bent enough to let one lamp of hope flicker. Morning is harder than night. Daylight shows mess you could not see. Breakfast did not go well. Half the PAP on the floor, spoons thrown like coins. Bella wanted Gabby's blanket. Gabby wanted the pink bowl that did not exist. Grace did not scold. She staged tiny wins. Half in the belly, half in the heart. She looked silly, singing between spoons. Issue, control versus connection. If you force, they fight. If you play, they join. Fear and excitement. Staff watching, waiting for her to break. Curiosity. Can small games shape big moods? She kissed the blanket and handed it to Bella. Smells like a cuddle. She gave Gabby the blue cloth and a metal spoon to tap. A rhythm came. Spoon, hum, small bite, smile. Not clean. Not perfect. But forward, Madame Tina lingered by the door and said nothing. The cleaner hovered with a dry mop. The driver pretended to check his phone twice. Word travels fast in quiet houses. When she opened her eyes, she found a note on the table. Schedule remains strict. Keep them safe. AC beneath it, a line lighter. Thank you for last night. She smiled at the ink. The house moved one click toward warm. Afternoon heat pressed on the glass. The nursery air felt heavy. The girls were restless, crying without tears. Grace wheeled out a plastic basin to the patio, filled it with cool water, and set a gentle hose like a small rain. The first true laugh returns. This is too simple. I will look foolish if it fails. Issue. Children in grief need body play, not only words. Fear and excitement. If they panic outdoors, trust steps backward. Curiosity. Will father join? Will house allow joy? Grace dipped her fingers and wiggled water like tiny fish. Gabby gasped. Bella slapped the surface and giggled by accident, surprised by her own sound. Grace laughed too, not big, small and honest so the girls could borrow it. The sound drifted through the open door. He stopped mid-call. He lowered his phone. He stood there and let the sound hit him like rain after dust. He walked out, shoes catching spray. He picked up the hose, awkward, and let a thin arc fall over his daughters. They shrieked. He smiled without meaning to. Then he laughed, rough at first, then clear. Joy is therapy in child shape. Play builds the bridge words cannot. The staff peeked through curtains. Someone whispered, "Olga is in the sun." The house felt different for 5 loud minutes. No rules, no marble, just people wet and alive. When it ended, Grace wrapped each girl in a towel and pressed her forehead to each head. He watched, quiet, changed. The hose lay on the tile like a shiny snake. The patio smelled like soap and mango and new. He could run companies, close deals, read markets. He could not find words for a woman who brought laughter back. He typed, deleted, typed again. At last, thank you for today. Send tiny text, big step. Grace's phone buzzed in the small room by the nursery. She smiled at the simple line. She typed back, we keep trying. Small steps and send. He fears looking soft. She fears being seen as staff only, not a partner in the girl's healing. Issue. Grief made them both formal with life. Interest a thread between 2 rooms. Fear and excitement. If they step closer, they could trip. Curiosity. Will crisis test this new bridge? Trust grows in small exchanges, not speeches. That night he watched 5 minutes of CCTV over and over, not to check her work, to replay laughter he thought had died with his wife. He whispered a name into the dark. Naomi. It hurt less than yesterday. Grace prayed 3 words. Keep me steady. Then slept with a towel under her hair from the water game. The twins slept mouth open, arms up, cheeks pink. The house, which had learned to expect noise at night, rested. Morning would test them again. That is what mornings do. But a string now ran from his study to her small room. 2 short texts. A bridge is a bridge, even if thin. By noon, Bella's cheeks turned pale. By 1, Gabby's body ran hot, eyes dull. No answer. She called again. Still away. She packed a small bag with wipes, bottles, thin blankets. Nearest hospital now, she told the driver. He obeyed the voice that did not beg. She is just the nanny. Will people listen? Issue. Act fast, ask later. Fear and excitement. If she delays, harm. If she moves without permission, job. Curiosity. Will he back her or blame her? Bright lights. Antiseptic sting. Nurses move like wind. Feline, cool cloth. Grace held Bella's hand with one palm and Gabby's with the other. Body bent like a bridge. Stay, she whispered. I stay. He arrived with breath like a sprint, eyes on wires and numbers. You should have called again, he snapped, fear wearing anger's coat. Grace met his eyes. I did. I am sorry. His face cracked, then softened. No, I am sorry. You did right. He took one small hand. She held the other. Between them the children and the truth. Same side. Hours stretched. The fever broke like a storm passes. Slow, then all at once. The doctor smiled. Breath returned to the room. Grace pressed both hands to her face and let out one quiet sob. He exhaled like a man putting down iron. In that thin morning light, the house found a new rule. In danger, we stand together. They drove home with the city humming. Bella slept on Grace's lap, thumb tucked, hair damp. Gabby slept on his chest, small breath warming his shirt. No speeches, just soft car sounds and the click of the turn signal like a metronome. He fears he waited too long to learn. She fears she stepped too far. Issue. Grief had ranked them. Crisis made them equal. Fear and excitement. Can alliance survive ordinary days? Curiosity. What changes now? Back at the mansion, Grace tucked the twins in and smoothed the blankets. He stood in the doorway, jacket off, sleeves rolled, looking less like a statue, more like a father. My wife loved mornings, he said. Tea on the patio. She said the babies could hear her dreams. He swallowed. Work does not fix what love breaks. He looked at Grace. Teach me to be what they need. Humility is the hinge that swings heavy doors. Grace nodded once. We start small. We start now. She placed a bottle in his hand, turned his wrist, adjusted his elbow. Let her feel your heartbeat. Wait 5 seconds before you step in. Count with your breath. He tried. Milk dribbled. His hand shook. Bella latched anyway. He stared in surprise like he had just won a quiet war. Grace smiled. She feels you. In that small room with soft breathing, a new contract formed without ink. Practice, patience, presence. Training began at sunrise and ended when small eyes closed. Reading cries, hungry, tired, lonely. Timing the pause. 5 seconds can save 30 minutes. 2 choices for Bella, never 3. Gabby carried close when fear rose like a tide. Hum off key but steady. It is the beat that calms, not the pitch. Small steps, Mr. Cole. He looks clumsy in rolled sleeves, milk on a shirt that cost too much. Issue. Status means nothing in a nursery. Fear and excitement. The old him wants to flee to spreadsheets. The new him stays. Curiosity. Will the staff believe this change? They watched. The cook whispered. Olga smiled at a wall. The driver said, he carried a baby and made a call. Madame Tina slowed her steps. Suspicion turned toward respect. Repetition turns hope into habit. The twins learned his smell, his rhythm, his laugh, the new one easy and low. He learned that power is not loud, it is warm. He learned to say I do not know, and then to try. One night Bella tugged his finger and would not let go after the last page. He did not go to the study. He sat in the chair and watched 2 small chests rise and fall. Grace folded tiny clothes on the table, humming a quiet road for the room to drive on. The house, once cold as a bank, began to sound like a home. Low voices, soft steps, doors that closed gently. Sun again. Water again. But this time he took the hose first. He bent low, shoes wet, hair damp. The twins squealed. Grace threw her head back and laughed without checking if it was allowed. Staff at windows. A curtain moved. Someone gasped. The boss was soaked. The marble caught every drop and sent tiny rainbows across the floor. They played until cheeks flushed and the girl's arms went heavy with good tired. He looked younger, like the weight he carried had been set down for a breath. Grace wrapped both girls in towels and pressed them close. He reached for one towel corner, clumsy, eager. Children do not need perfect parents. They need present ones. The house felt it. Doors opened. Voices warmed. Rules stayed but softened at the edges where love needs room. That night he knocked on Grace's door. "You handled today well," he said. "You joined," she answered. They needed that. Their eyes held a second too long. She looked down, smoothing a small dress. He stepped back. Boundaries kept clean. Hearts kept honest. The house, once only stone and glass, learned a new skill. Warmth with respect. After the twins slept, they spoke more like people and less like roles. He told her about Naomi. Tea on the patio. Morning jokes. A birth that turned storm. A silence that stayed. He said, "I built walls to keep grief in and love out." His voice thinned on the last word. Grace told him about a father who left and a house that shouted without sound. "I sang louder," she said. Not to drown pain, but to hold it. Insecurities, fear of saying too much. Issue, honesty without romance. Fear and excitement, truth can heal. Truth can hurt. Will they step over a line? They did not. They stayed inside respect. They chose clean edges. Healing does not need grand scenes. It needs two people telling the truth at a human speed. A week of steady days followed. Bedtime books. Short texts. Small jokes. The driver taught him to tie a better baby sling. The cook taught him to warm pap without a skin on top. Madame Tina placed a soft blanket in the nursery one morning and said nothing, which was her way of saying, "Well done." In that quiet, a question grew like a shy plant. Is this only a chapter, or is it a path? He stood by the window, city lights on his back, breath tight. "You came to do a job," he said. "You did more. You brought me back to them." He paused. "I don't want you to remain only staff. I want you to be family. Not a boss asking a worker, a father asking for a mother's heart beside his. Will you stay, hook, risk with respect?" Grace looked at the cribs, at two small bodies safe in sleep. She spoke slow. "We center them first. If we build around their needs. No rush, no secrets. Step by step. Love that lasts is love that keeps the children's calendar, not adult speed." He nodded, shoulders down. "We do it right. No kiss. No big music." He reached and held her hand, firm but not pulling. The house felt the promise like a soft weight added to a shelf that could hold it. They told Mama. They told staff. They told the twins in the way children hear, through daily acts. 2 mugs on the patio at dawn, 4 hands during fevers, 1 voice reading, 1 voice humming, and a door that stayed open day after day. The ceremony was small, sun through glass. 2 vows that sounded like work, not drama. Show up, stay soft, keep trying. The twins sat with Grandma and clapped at the wrong times. It was perfect. They did not buy grand things. They bought a second laundry basket and better nightlight bulbs. They built a wall calendar with stickers the twins could choose. Blue for play, yellow for reading, green for water games. He moved board calls to late morning so breakfast did not rush. She took 1 day off each week and did not feel guilty. Grandma came on Sundays with stew that smelled like childhood. The staff learned the new beat. The house echoed different words. Please. Thank you. We try again. The driver taught the twins to greet the guard by name. Madame Tina wrote rest on the family calendar once. Everyone laughed, then kept it. One night, wind moved through the garden and the twins fell asleep holding hands. Grace and Adrien stood by the cribs, side by side, silent. Not a perfect family. A present one. The kind that bends and does not break. Evenings on the patio became slow rituals. Mango slices. A cheap kite. 2 small girls leaning on 2 warm shoulders. The city hummed beyond the gate, traffic, waves, markets, life. Inside, the house hummed too. Soft, steady, human. Grace looked at Adrien. I never thought I would stand in a place like this. He shook his head. I never thought a place like this would feel like home. A light flicked on in the garden. The twins yawned. The kite dropped. He carried one. She carried the other. Doors opened. The hallway smelled like lemon and laughter now. Pictures went up on the bare wall, new, not to erase the old, but to sit beside it. Love does not replace. It adds. If you're watching this, remember, small steps change heavy houses. If this story helped, like the video so it reaches someone who needs it. Comment with one small step you will try tonight. Subscribe so you do not miss the next chapter. If you skip it, you may miss the one idea that keeps your own home from breaking at the hard hour. Share this with someone standing at a big door afraid to knock. Love melts stone. Slowly. Surely. Stay.